Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I would like to say thank you so much for coming to my presentation. It's great to see you all. Let me introduce myself. My name is Pramesti Wulandari. I will presentation. The title is Development of Teaching Materials on Islamic Education Subject for Higher Education, Case Studies in Indonesia. Next slide about objective. Investigating various teaching materials that can be developed in Islam for higher education to achieve learning objectives. Okay, next slide about research framework. First, about introduction. I will explanation of the research background. Number 2, literature study, description of various factors related to the research. Number 3, analysis of the current development of teaching materials. I will an explanation of various developments of teaching materials in Islamic education. And last, conclusion, I will explanation of the research results and explanation regarding the potential for research that can be developed. Okay, next slide. I will explanation about introduction. Next slide about introduction, research background. Education, number 1. Education is an important thing that needs to be considered to improve the quality of human resources. In education, there is learning plans are essential things that must be done before an educational process takes place. Learning plans can help make the right decisions and provide opportunities for control and an easier time in their implementation. It's necessary to have practitioners or experts in education to design a good curriculum concept and implement it well adapted to the country's situations or conditions. Okay, next, number 2, it's necessary to develop appropriate teaching measures to improve students' soft skills. According to Sana et al. Said that learning is an educational process developed by teachers. Students are facilitated with a comfortable learning atmosphere to develop their potential into the expected competencies or soft skills, knowledge, and attitude and skill competencies. Okay, next, number 3, teaching materials have become one of the components in the learning process, which the design must be following the principles of learning. According to Wulandari, teaching materials are learning materials that include instruction on how to learn, competencies to be achieved, lesson content, practice questions, work instruction, and assessment. Teaching materials to be created or developed must be designed according to the lesson plan. The use of teaching materials for an Islamic education teachers is not only to provide information and describe to the content of lessons through textbooks such as familiarity, but also to diversify the fun teaching aids. And the last, various teaching materials have been developed in Islamic education subjects for higher education to help achieve the planned learning objectives in its development. This article then explains various teaching materials that have been developed as learning media. It aims to improve students' soft skills through teaching and learning Islamic religious education subjects. Some of the development of teaching materials include the Augmented Reality or ER method, Islamic glossary application, infographics, and infographics animations. Next slide, I will explanations about literature study. Okay, literature study, various factors related to this research I will explanation for point about literature study. Number one, or the first, Islamic Educations of High School in Curriculum 2013. The Ministry of National Education has launched the 2013 curriculum as a form of renewal from the previous curriculum focusing more on character education. The purpose of the curriculum is to prepare the quality of every student so that they can be more productive, active, creative, innovative personalities and contribute to the environment. Islamic education is a subject that essentially prepares students to know more about Islam, understand every matter in it, implement it, and practice in everyday life. Islamic education with the 2013 curriculum design makes students the main subject of learning who can learn independently from various sources, then apply it and do it interactively. Next, development in educational technology. According to Gustafsson and Brands in I-CMME, mentioned that development in educational technology refers to several categories, which include number one, analysis related to learning needs and actual conditions. Number two, design of an effective and efficient learning environment. And number three, develop all aspects related to students and teaching materials. Number four, implementation of teaching materials that have been developed, and the last, formative and summative evaluation carried out on the results of the development. Educational technology itself is intended to facilitate the learning process itself. In addition, educational technology is a system in education that makes it easier for students to learn and solve problems during the learning process to get a more effective learning and learning experience. Next, development of teaching materials. Teaching materials cover three essential aspects consisting of knowledge, skills, and attitudes. Students must own these three aspects through the learning process to achieve a predetermined standard of competence. According to Dick Kerr and Carey, the preparation of teaching materials need to pay attention to several things, including the existence of learning materials. Having clear goals, there is an application of media in it can help students to learn and their instruction for use. And the last, I will explain about the influence of teaching materials in soft skill development. According to Knoll and Wilkins in Woodward, Sandel, and Sachucci states that soft skills should be integrated in the curriculum by including writing skills, delivering discussion results or presentation, managing projects, and developing relationships with others or interpersonal skills. In the same literacy, this opinion is supported by Tuleja and Greenhalgh, who says that students need a balance of both quantitative and qualitative skills such as speaking, writing, leading, cooperations, and communication. Through the development of teaching materials, students can increase their knowledge or skill broadly. Okay, next slide. I will explanation about current development of teaching material. Okay, next slide. About development of teaching material in Islamic education. The research the first about augmented reality or AR-based millennial textbooks, an application that combines the real world and the virtual world in two-dimensional and three-dimensional forms that are projected in a real environment at the same time. Teresia et al. In class 7 at the junior high school level in Magelang shows that millennial textbooks based on augmented reality or AR technology can be said to be valid and feasible to be implemented in learning. Another study also showed that 80, 88% of students achieved the value of learning completeness criteria, which indicates that AR-based textbooks are categorized as effective. Number 2, website-based Islamic glossary applications. An applications that facilitates the Islamic education learning process. In this context, the Islamic glossary is an application that contains Islamic terms that are considered problematic in terms of language. This Islamic glossary application shows a percentage of around 70%, which means that this media has motivated students to learn and add to the students' scientific treasures about Islamic education matters easily. In addition, another study showed that the use of a glossary was considered effective on the learning outcomes of class 8 science students at Stage U Junior High School dan Salatiga. Okay, next slide. I will explains about number 3, infographics-based problem posing, a form of effort that positions students as learning resources and provide opportunities for structured exploration of thinking in creating and solving problems. This is supported by research that shows an increase of 90.63% in online learning participation and learning outcomes for students of class 12 social science when State Senior High School 7 Yogyakarta when using an infographics-based problem-posing approach. Okay, next, the last, infographic instructional media. One of the visual media that is considered quite effective as a medium of communications, infographic media is considered capable of visualizing the concept of learning faster by using less text in it. The research showed that 90.25% of students agreed with the use of this infographic teaching material. According to students, this infographic teaching material is considered interesting because the design is not monotonous and the material presented is considered more complete. Okay, the last I will explanation about conclusion this research or this article. Okay, about conclusion research and potential future research. Infographic-based teaching material, which is contextually present with pictures and systematic concepts, allows students to develop their thinking about concepts that have been studied. This article or research, some research, 3 point. Point is number 1, learning is an important process to increase students' skills and knowledge. Point 2, character education needs to be paid more attention during the learning process. And number 3, the last, advance in technology require the educational process to be even better. Okay, I will enough this explanation about my article. And thank you for your attention and see you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.